Mr. Hudson is here. Mr. Charlie. Who is Mr. Charlie? A second later, Orvel rushed in, trembling, and kicked Blake straight to the ground. You're an idiot! You can't even recognize Mr. Charlie? I'll kill you! Orvel kept kicking Blake, yelling at him frantically. Blake, who had been acting so tough just moments ago, now looked like a drowned rat. Elsa was speechless. What was happening? The goons were also panicking. This young guy was actually Mr. Charlie? They had just tried to attack him. They really had a death wish. Orvel yelled at the others. What are you all just standing there for? Get on your knees and apologize to Mr. Charlie. Mr. Charlie, we're so sorry. We were blind not to see who you were. We almost messed with you. Please, let us go. The men dropped to their knees, bowing and scraping, apologizing frantically. Blake was terrified too. He dropped to his knees and begged for mercy. I'm so sorry, Mr. Charlie. Please forgive me. Please spare me this one time. Orvel even slapped himself, saying nervously, Mr. Charlie, this is my fault. I failed, and I let my men bother you and your friends. Charlie glanced at Elsa and said lightly, I just invited my wife's friend to dinner. Then he looked at the others and said coldly, They are not my friends. Elsa was completely shocked. It turned out Charlie wasn't bragging at all. He really had booked a room at the mansion, and it was the exclusive diamond box. More importantly, this room had been reserved for him by Orvel himself. Remembering how she had looked down on Charlie before, Elsa's face flushed red with shame. At that moment, Harold trembled when he heard what they were saying. What was happening? Charlie, that loser, was a friend of Mr. Hudson? Wendy was terrified too. Charlie actually knew Orvel Hudson. The crazy part was how nice Mr. Hudson was to him. Then she looked at her fiancé Gerald, who was unconscious and on the floor. Orvel wiped the cold sweat from his forehead and promised, Mr. Charlie, don't worry. This will never happen again. From now on, you can come to the mansion and use the diamond box whenever you want. As for him, I'll deal with him later. Charlie just grunted, then turned to Elsa. Elsa, I've had enough to eat. This place is a mess. Let's get out of here. Charlie's voice snapped Elsa out of her shock. What about the others? She asked instinctively. She looked at Harold, Gerald, and Wendy's awful conditions and couldn't help but worry. Charlie said casually, Let Mr. Hudson handle it. Orvel immediately added, Mr. Charlie, don't worry. I'll get an ambulance and have them taken to the hospital for treatment. All right. Charlie nodded. In that case, we'll get going. Elsa was still in a bit of a daze as she followed Charlie out of the mansion. Once they were outside, Elsa couldn't calm her racing heart. She looked at Charlie, who seemed completely unfazed, and felt like he was shrouded in a fog, mysterious and deep. Charlie, what was all that back there? Before Elsa could finish, Charlie cut her off, saying flatly, Elsa, please keep what happened today a secret. If Claire finds out, she'll be upset that I'm involved with shady people like Orvel. Elsa had no choice but to nod. Okay, I understand. After Charlie and Elsa left, Orvel arranged for an ambulance to take everyone to the hospital. Wendy's jaw was leaving her face permanently. One of Harold's hands was nearly useless, and it would take a long time to heal, if ever. As for Gerald, he had a severe concussion. Although he was out of immediate danger, he would suffer from the after effects for the rest of his life. Elsa's meeting with Doris Young from the Emgrand group was tomorrow. After leaving the mansion, Charlie drove her back to her hotel and then left. Elsa was still reeling from the shock of dinner as she thought about what her future held. She had come to Oris Hill supposedly to work for the Emgrand group, but her real reason was a heavy family responsibility. Her dad had told her some top-secret news. The Wades, The most powerful family of Eastcliff had found their heir, who had been missing for many years. They had also bought the Emgrand group to let the young man learn the ropes. In other words, the Wade family heir was right here in Orris Hill, and he was the chairman of the Emgrand group. Although the Gardner family was well respected in Eastcliff, they were strictly second tier, 1,000 miles away from the status of the Wade family. Because of this, the Gardner family was hoping Elsa could use her position to find a way to meet the Wade family heir. If she could start a relationship with him, and that led to a marriage, it would be a huge victory for them. Even though Elsa was repulsed by the idea, she couldn't ignore the immense pressure on her shoulders to revive her family's fortunes. She had traveled all this way to Orris Hill and taken a job at the Emgrand group for one reason: to get close to its mysterious chairman and find a way to catch his eye. Back in Eastcliff, Elsa was considered a top beauty among the elite. She was confident that her looks, intelligence, skills, and great figure would be more than enough to capture the attention of the Wade family heir. If she could really marry him, the Gardner family's fortunes would be completely restored. They would secure their place as a top-tier family. Just thinking about it filled her with anticipation for starting her new job tomorrow. At the same time, she was filled with curiosity about the mysterious man from the Wade family. She couldn't help but wonder, how old was this Wade family heir? What did he look like? Was he charming, tall, and handsome? She couldn't resist pulling out her phone and opening her video app. She clicked on a video in her favorites that had tens of millions of views. It was the viral video of Charlie confronting the sales director at Rare Earth with a mountain of cash. She'd watched this video over and over, analyzing it. She knew it was filmed in Orris Hill, right around the time the news broke about the Wade heir being found. Because of that, she guessed that the insanely rich guy in the video had to be the youngest of the Wade family, the chairman of the Emgrand group. She zoomed in on the man's back, studying his every move. From the blurry video, she could tell the famous internet mystery man was probably in his 20s, tall and thin, but his face was never visible. Still, his build was impressive, not far off from some American supermodels. With a body like that, she figured his face had to be just as good. But then, Elsa felt a strange sense of familiarity. Why did this guy's posture seem so much like Charlie's? She dismissed the thought almost immediately. It was impossible. Charlie was just the son-in-law of the Wilson family. What kind of power did the Wilsons have? They couldn't even compare to a single hair on the Wade family's head. If Charlie really was the Wade heir, why would he be stuck living with a down-and-out family like the Wilsons? She decided she was just overthinking things. The next day, Elsa arrived at the Emgrand group bright and early. Vice Chairwoman Doris Young personally handled her onboarding. Doris took her to the administrative department, walked her through her new responsibilities, and then said, "Elsa, if you ever have any questions, you can ask me directly or just come by my office." Elsa nodded gratefully, then asked cautiously, "Miss Young, I was wondering if I might have a chance to meet the chairman. Since I'll be handling administrative affairs for the company, I'm worried I might accidentally overlook something important if I've never met him." Doris was immediately on high alert. Charlie had asked her just the other day to keep an eye on Elsa, and now, on her first day, she was already asking about the chairman. It was too much of a coincidence to ignore. She had no idea what this beautiful girl who had come all this way to work for the Emgrand group was really after. She said to Elsa, "Our chairman doesn't come into the office very often, but if he does, I'll let him know. If he wants to meet with you, I'll be sure to inform you." Elsa's heart sank with a little disappointment. But she managed a smile and said, "Thank you, Mrs. Young." As soon as Doris Young was back in her office, she called Charlie to report what had happened. The moment Charlie heard that Elsa had tried to meet him on her very first day, his guard went up. This woman was definitely here for him. What was her goal? Was she trying to get close to him to hurt him or to seduce him? Whatever her reason, the thought of it left a bad taste in Charlie's mouth. So he decided right then to keep his distance from Elsa, and more importantly, to make sure she never found out who he really was. That night, to celebrate Elsa's new job, Claire made a reservation at a fancy hotel to treat her to dinner. As Claire's husband, Charlie was expected to go with her. This made Charlie's mood sink. Just when he had decided to keep his distance from Elsa, he was now going to have dinner with her that very night. But, as annoyed as he was, he still got ready to go to the hotel with Claire. However, when they arrived, Charlie's jaw dropped. He realized Claire had chosen the Sky Garden at the Aurelius Grand. The Sky Garden ballroom is typically reserved for high-profile guests, so they never offer private room service. But Charlie had managed to book the entire place for their wedding anniversary, something the Aurelius Grand had never done before, and their anniversary was just 3 days away. A massive, eye-catching sign stood at the entrance of the Aurelius Grand. The Sky Garden will be privately booked in 3 days. We apologize for any inconvenience, but it will be unavailable to all other guests at that time. Everyone who saw the notice was in shock. Someone had actually booked the entire Sky Garden at the Aurelius Grand? They never did private bookings. It was said that the children of several powerful politicians in the city had wanted to have their wedding receptions there, but they were all turned down flat. Who on earth had enough clout to book the entire Sky Garden? Claire saw the sign and gasped in surprise. Wow! The Sky Garden is actually booked? That's incredible! Charlie, standing beside her, just smiled and said, "What's so incredible? It's a ballroom, isn't it? Of course people can book it." "You don't get it," Claire said, her tone serious. "The Aurelius Grand isn't just some local hotel. It's one of the top hotel chains in the world. Their Sky Garden is their signature feature, and it's meant exclusively for high-end guests. If one big shot books the whole place, then all the other wealthy guests can't use it. That's why they never offer it for private events." With that, Claire couldn't help but sigh. I can't even imagine who this person is. To be able to book this entire place is just amazing. Charlie deliberately smiled and said, "Maybe it's someone who really loves his wife and wants to throw a wedding celebration for her." Claire's eyes widened. A wedding for his wife? Here? Wow, he must really love her. His wife is so incredibly lucky.
To know more, listen to the audio series Heir in Hiding, only on the Pocket FM app.